VLR.
If spending money like water was the answer to our country's problems, we would have no problems now.
Well, there's a town in Wisconsin. It's not quite as big as LA. We got something they don't have, and we're gonna see them today. Go, you Packers, go, go. Go, you Packers, go, go. This year, yeah, they're on a roll. Go, you Packers, go, go. And the pack is rocking.
You are listening to Modern Comments with your host Amy Curtis here on Vigilant Liberty Radio.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Vigilant Liberty Radio and the Modern Comments Radio Show. I am Amy Curtis, your host, and joining me this evening, I have wonderful guests. First, I'll introduce Randy Clemens, who you find on Twitter at Boston Randy. Hi, Randy. How are you?
Shalom, Amy. I hope you're having a great evening.
I'm having a better evening than I did morning, so yes. All things considered, the day ended on a high note, so...
Yeah, I was worried about you after I saw that tweet this morning, and you told me you were okay, so I felt much better.
Yeah, for those of you who don't follow me on Twitter, which you can do at Modern Comments, I got rear-ended this morning on the expressway to work by a woman who was very, very kind and very, very gracious, but happened to make the very poor decision to look down and pick something up in rush hour traffic, and she swerved and hit the back of my car and took a sizable portion of my bumper with her. So I will have to take the car into the body shop and get it repaired, but fortunately she took responsibility, admitted fault. The insurance company's going to handle everything, so that's one worry I don't have to worry about. And the other guest this evening, I want to welcome back Dave, the regular to the program. How are you?
Hello. Sorry about that. Hello.
How are you?
Well, better than I was this morning.
Yep.
Got to take the dog into the vet tomorrow to get clipped and bought a muzzle for the occasion.
So he's going to have a fun morning tomorrow, I can tell. And last but certainly not least, our wonderful producer, Taylor, who you can find on Twitter at iDesertBlog. That's EYE Desert Blog. How are you this evening, Taylor?
I am doing just fine. Just to get this out of the way, it was a catch.
I knew you were going to bring that up. And
but we're moving on from that. Well, the funny thing is I didn't watch the game because I knew they were going to lose.
Okay.
I knew the Cowboys were going to lose, so that's why I didn't watch it.
Okay, well...
For those wondering... Hang on. For those wondering what that song was, that is the 2011 version of Go You Packers Go by the Wisenheimers.
Yes, and that's our theme for this evening because since we last spoke with you, the Packers had played and won against the Dallas Cowboys, and we will talk about that a little bit in just a moment, but I want to do a couple housekeeping notes. If you want to join in the conversation, you can go to vigilantlibertyradio.us/chat and click on where it says you can log in with your name and a password, put in your username. You don't necessarily have to put in a password. Join in, or you can tweet me on Twitter at Modern Comments, and I will try to work your comments into the show. But yeah, Taylor picked a special theme for me tonight, and he told me about it. I got the message about 15 minutes before we went on air, and it's appropriate because since the last time we talked, the Packers did face the Dallas Cowboys, and they did beat the Cowboys. And if you're not into sports, those of you who are wondering what Taylor was referring, Dez Bryant, I believe it was the fourth quarter.
Fourth and 2.
On 4th and 2, had a what looked like, to people who aren't familiar, I mean, I'm not, and this isn't a slight against Taylor, but it looked like it was a catch. Even I thought it was a catch, and if you go back, If you go back through my Twitter feed, I say as much because he went up spectacular vertical leap and caught this ball and came down just inside the 1 yard line, and Mike McCarthy ended up challenging the
Should
call.
have been a touchdown.
It should have, if on the next play, probably would have resulted in a touchdown. The play itself was not a touchdown because the ball didn't break the plane. I will give you that it looked like a catch,
touchdown,
but it was not a touchdown. And what happened was Mike McCarthy challenged it, and you can go through my Twitter feed, and I call it a stupid move because it looked like a catch to me. And the rule, I guess I'm going to kind of paraphrase it, is they said he had to maintain control of the ball coming all the way down to the ground, and because the ball came loose and touched the ground in the process of the catch, they ruled it not a catch.
It's a ridiculous ruling.
From what I have read from people, it is a ridiculous rule. I don't
it's
contest
the Calvin
that.
Johnson rule. It's what it is. It's the Calvin Johnson rule.
Yeah, but in my mind, and I don't want to gloat about this too much because I don't want to jinx the Packers, but that sure as hell makes up for the Fail Mary pass from last year where they called it not touchdown. So yeah, I was shocked. I mean, you can go back through my Twitter feed. I in expletives expressed my shock that they reversed it, because it looked like a catch. Although, to be fair,
she was speechless. That rarely happens.
Yes, I was actually speechless, and I didn't know what to say. But I had some friends who were at the game, some Twitter friends who were at the game, who said on the Jumbotron it didn't look like a catch, and that was their instant reaction. So it certainly was, I think, what sort of decided the game and definitely swung the momentum to our favor, and we ended up winning by 5 points. Now we go on to Seattle, and we lost at Seattle at the beginning of the season. We
looked horrible on the opening weekend.
We did look horrible on the opening weekend, and we are 7.5. Let me make sure we are 7.5 underdogs for this game, and it's the NFC Championship game. And just looking at some of the stats here, we have been underdogs 3 times this season. 6 points at Seattle, the season opener, 2.5 at Detroit, and 2 at New Orleans, and we lost all 3 games. So with Rodgers at the helm, we have lost 7 underdog games in a row. So I'm nervous. If they don't come out of that clubhouse and explode onto the field and play a perfect game, we are going to lose the championship, and it will crush me because we are so close to going back to the Super Bowl, and I want it so badly, but we need to have a perfect game, and Rodgers, I hope his calf heals, and I would love to hear him yell out New York Bozo one more time during the game, because that was great, and his explanation of New York Bozo was even funnier. So,
what
Randy,
was the explanation of that, out of curiosity? Because I have no idea.
He actually sounded kind of surprised that we heard it as loud as we did, and I don't think that he meant for it to be heard, and he just found it very amusing that it became this instant sort of social media firestorm. But yeah, he just said it was something that he kind of made up, and he didn't. He goes, "You heard that?" Yeah, it was pretty loud. So
I thought, that was a shout out to Bill de Blasio.
Same thing.
Or a lot of people said it might have been a shot at Chris Christie.
No, because he's from New Jersey, isn't he?
He's from New
Exactly.
Jersey. Yeah, so I was like, not likely, but it was amusing. Yes, Dave.
Oh, Randy, you're in an interesting situation. You are a Pats fan in Colts territory.
Well, that is the case, and well, a lot of people think because of my handle, Boston Randy, I'm a Patriots fan. Well, they don't take the time to look at my Twitter profile, which I don't have anything about the Patriots there. I'm pure Packers, always have been, growing up in the shadows of Old Schaefer Stadium. But I would like to see the Pats beat the Colts for 2 reasons. Number one, Tom Brady doesn't get enough love. I know a lot of people don't like him, and success breeds contempt. But number 2, Colts fans are just tedious people. I cannot stand Colts. It's like, shut up until you win something substantial.
Or the moving vans come again.
Ooh.
Ouch.
Oh, by the way, for the upcoming Packers Seahawks game, I do have a couple of thoughts here, if I would. When it came to the Dez Bryant catch, my belief was good call, bad rule. And on that thought, we as the Packers, we're playing with house money going into Seattle. So whatever happens, happens. I'm proud of the team. I'm not forecasting a victory for the Packers, but I won't discount the possibility.
Anything can happen, and if everything falls into place the way it should, and they step up, and one of my favorite sports writers, who I'm going to give him a shout out, he's Jason Wilde. He's a local guy, and he writes a lot on the Packers and does a lot of interviewing with Rodgers. He made a good point. There was that kerfuffle during the game where, and I'm gonna blank on who got into the
TJ Lang got
TJ Lang took out a Cowboys defender, and it was called a personal foul.
Yeah, it was after the play.
After the play, but he said that's the kind of attitude that they're going to need, that camaraderie and got your back attitude going into the game against Seattle. Because if you watched the game that Seattle played last weekend, they looked really good, and their opponents looked really bad, and that's what we were going up against. So.
Yeah. One thing, though, is that the Packers' offensive line has solidified since the first game. Bulaga was out for most of the first game, and the guy who replaced him on the line isn't even on the team anymore. He played himself out of a job.
Yeah.
But the line protects Rodgers. They protect him like nothing else, and they also have learned. Last year, they got into run blocking. Eddie Lacy was Rookie of the Year, and Eddie Lacy got going after the first few games.
Yeah, and he didn't have a real good game this past weekend. I guess the cold kind of got to him, and his asthma was acting up a little bit. But
rushing was enough.
The rushing was enough, but when he was not like he had been in previous games. He is a beast, and I say that out of awe and admiration, because sometimes it takes 3, 4, 5 guys to bring him down and stop him, and he can get out of situations that guys half his size couldn't get out of, because he is a big, well-built guy, and he runs a remarkable game. So if anything is possible, know that I will be screaming myself hoarse on Sunday, and if they win, I will be throwing an awesome get-together at Casa de Curtis for the big game.
You're going to invite me, right?
February 1st.
Pay for my
everybody
trip, right?
Everybody from VLR is invited, and if they drive all the way to Wisconsin, I will make sure it's worth their time.
Okay.
So and I just put that
Amy,
out there.
Amy,
Alrighty then.
Okay.
Yeah. So from the VLR family.
Dave, I have to ask this: is that as good as there are times I think of you, Liz, while in bed? Is that as good as that or not?
Possibly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll go down in infamy, but it will be fun. It will be fun. And if they make it, I will be crazy for the next couple of yes, dear, for the next couple of weeks.
I would like to weigh in, by the way.
Of course,
more than I have already. While I was looking for this image, it was actually really funny. When I was looking for that music, I happened to see on YouTube, because they have recommended for you or similar to this video. I was going through there, and I happened to see was the Cowboys game against the Packers rigged. And I went, what? I mean, don't get me wrong. The Cowboys fan in me, I was sitting there going, they were going to try to do the makeup call. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, what? No freaking way. And then I opened it and I saw who it was from. Alex bleeping Jones. Alex,
hang on, Taylor. I got to get my tinfoil hat out. Wait a second.
That gives me an idea. We should have tinfoil cheeseheads for the game on Sunday.
Yeah.
We should tweet Alex Jones with our tinfoil cheeseheads